Episode 21. I'm Tess Protesto.
And I'm Paul Richards. Welcome.
Today is all about graphics. We are talking about all the graphics, animations, intros, outros, overlays, all that fun stuff that we use in our own show. We're going to do a live tutorial and show you some fun ways to incorporate that into your production.
Yes, so today we're going to go through Photoshop, we're going to go through After Effects, but before we do, today is the last show of the year. So we wanted to just talk about a couple of our favorites that we've had this year and kind of go over the past 20 episodes as quickly as possible on what we've accomplished this year.
21 episodes.
Yes,
That's
our
crazy.
show is now drinking age.
Our show is now drinking age. We've made it.
So we started off, our very first episode was actually our aha moments for live streaming, when we decided, wow, this really makes a big difference for live streaming. So for us, we had a bunch of those and we went over them with the audience, but we had no viewers. We had nobody watching our show.
That happens to all of us. When you're starting a live show, there's often nobody there. But when you're doing those first shows, and it's important to think about the on-demand viewership, so keep talking and do your show just as you had planned, because those on-demand views are really important for people showing up to maybe the next episode or so on and so forth.
So that was episode 1. Episode 2, we jumped right into how to grow your show, and that was when things started to finally grow for us. Brand new font. We're going to be talking about installing new fonts. See, people do recognize when you change the font. We talked about troubleshooting live streaming. We talked about transitioning from recorded video to live video. We had a huge breakout into Gary Vaynerchuk Vayner Nation live giveaway, which helped boost our live viewership. We got like 300 YouTube subscribers that day. Great way to...
Yeah. Collaboration is key. So if you can get popular names or noteworthy within whatever topic it is that you're discussing, that's a great way to grow your show. So basically, StreamGeeks, we set out to share things that work for us or things that we're trying with you, with the audience, so we can just sort of communicate, help one another, and grow together. So that's been the goal for these past 21 episodes, and we hope that you've been enjoying it. Today we're going to dive into what graphic softwares we use for our graphics. So that kind of gets us to the feature topic of the week.
I think it does. Let's jump right in.
And now it's time for the StreamGeeks feature topic of the week.
So the feature topic of the week is graphical arts. The graphic arts,
Graphical arts?
Graphic arts.
the graphical arts. I have never heard that.
Yeah, graphic arts majors.
So for you graphic arts majors,
this is the down and dirty. None of us went to school for this.
We need to say that first. We are total DIY learners. Now, Michael did
take a few courses.
Michael did have some education with graphic design.
Which is good.
But the point of that is that if we can do it and learn, you can too. There's so much resources like this and so many other resources on learning these programs. So here's what you're going to need to do the things that we do. What programs?
Yes. So the very first thing you're going to need, and I'm going to pull it up here, is Photoshop. And you might have seen, I'll show you a file I'm working on right now, the intro bug. So there's our little intro bug where I have the show countdown timer. And the countdown timer for the show is so important because when you do your pre-show, first of all, the reason why you would have a pre-show is because from 5 to 10 to 15 minutes, that's when your audience is building and gathering. So you don't want to just start your show. And you could just start your show if that's what you want, but a lot of people will have a pre-show 5 to 10 minutes to let people get to your show before you start delivering your message. So this is a little countdown timer. You probably saw the countdown timer right there, and we can do that kind of stuff in Photoshop, and we can do that kind of stuff in After Effects, and we'll show you how to do all that today.
Yeah, do you want to wait to talk about how to do anything really until
let's talk about what we're going to cover first, I think.
Okay, cool.
And why.
Yep.
So the first thing is consistent branding throughout. Get your fonts together, get your colors together, figure out what your custom everything is going to be first, and then make it consistent throughout your entire show.
Yeah, whether it's a color or whether it's a vibe, you know, if you're going kind of eco-friendly look, you might want greenery. If you're going for a rustic, feminine look, maybe a chic look. If you're going for a corporate, you know, sharp-edged white look, you know, just pick where you want the show's vibe to go. If that's you know what I'm trying to say.
Yes. No, I think you're totally on there. And one of the best places to start is with your intro and outro clips. I think our intro is a little long. It's like 45 seconds, but we have that by design so that we can like shuffle around, gives us a few minutes to get ready. But you want to get the intro and the outro clips, and then throughout the entire thing, even down to the t-shirt that you're wearing. This is our custom StreamGeeks t-shirt. Hopefully you guys will get some of them one day. But everything is kind of branded together and shares a common theme. So
yeah, we kind of chose like an 80s flair for this show just because that's what inspired us. That's kind of how we started the whole thing. You went searching for 80s templates, and that's a little trick that we're going to share with you in a little bit about how we decided on that.
I'm going to pull up the template. I really think, now that you said that, Tess, I'm going to pull up the template that started it all, if you will. So here we are at videohive.com. And this is the starting place for me. I've done probably 6 or 7 shows where I've built everything from scratch. And I always start at VideoHive. And let's say you wanted to do a cooking show, which I actually did one day. You'll see that there's all kinds of shows for cooking. Now what we're seeing here is stock footage. We actually want After Effects templates. And look at that.
Let's just let them know that, you know, we use Adobe Photoshop, but we heavily use Adobe After Effects for any kind of animated content that we want to record previously and play during the show. And that's what you're referring to here for intros and outros.
Yep. And here's one right here that looks great for a cooking show. So almost anything you could ever want is in there. I'm just going to show my downloads. You'll see I have a million of them.
So you'd pay for this and you'd purchase it, and it would give you a templated file that you would be able to plug in your own information and content into, which is a great way for people who are not After Effects masters who have a basic working knowledge of it to create really professional looking intros and outros.
Oh my gosh, I've bought so much stuff from here.
After
Here it
Effects
is.
happy.
Sweet retro logo reveal pack.
So that's what we got.
This is how we do most of our show here, because we wanted this like retro old. Look there, look, see that? See, it says Easy Sweet Sauce, and I just changed the font to StreamGeeks Live, and that's how we did all of our segments. This one's really, really cool. I love the retro feel to it. And then this one came out so well. This one's funny. This is that StreamGeeks logo that comes up. Kind of reminds me of like Sega Genesis, old school style. So you buy that template on VideoHive, and then from there, you go ahead and customize it. And we're going to show you how easy it is right now, actually, pretty much. We'll go over a whole bunch of stuff. We're going to go over how to do the segment clips. We're going to show you how to do social media titles with integration, video bugs, which Mike launched our video bug. I just want to show these guys what that is, but I call the video bug. The countdown timer and the pre-show. This is a video bug, and we're going to show you how to make one of those as well. And it's in Tess's live show goodies.
You did put it there, right?
Yes.
Okay, good.
So we're going to show you how to do that as well. If you go to streamgeeks.us, Tess has something called live show goodies under geek stuff, free show graphics.
A lot of you might have it and not even realize it's being updated.
There it is. And so if you go ahead there, you can download everything we're talking about today. Should most likely be a free download with all the PSD files and Photoshop files. So the first thing I wanted to do,
there's random frames in there,
was I wanted to show you how easy it is to make an animated title. And I got some tricks on how to make it really easy. Tess, can we find somebody who wants us to make them a free, let's make Catherine a free title.
All right.
Catherine, we're going to make you a title. Catherine, what is your title? So it's Catherine Dar, right?
I think it's Facebook marketing.
Facebook marketing?
Facebook for business, maybe?
Facebook for business. Let us know in the chat if
Let me pull
you
up her
pick it
Facebook so I can get direct knowledge. I know her background is white brick.
And if anybody else wants one, just let us know. But we're going to make you one right now and show you how easy it is.
Catherine Dar Live Toots
Here.
or Facebook Live.
Okay.
Something for Facebook Live.
So
Recognize me from my Facebook group. News. I'm reading French right now.
wow, you took French?
Yeah, I mean, in high school.
Okay, so this is a After Effects file here.
Her colors are red and white.
And her, well, okay, so we gotta change her colors then.
We
All
gotta
right.
change colors.
We gotta change the colors. So first thing we're gonna do is change the color. So we're gonna go in here and in color, we're gonna make it red. And it's so easy to do. So here's our little color wheel. And there's red, right?
Pick go down, like a darker red.
Like down here.
Upper, like, go down, like an inch. Okay,
There?
yep, that's good.
Okay, so get you a nice little red, Catherine. We're gonna put your name in here. So Catherine, I have it written down.
Catherine, and then Daar.
All right, there we just
Her
put your
font looks
name
kind
in.
of like Oswald.
Okay, you want to change it to Oswald? Mm-hmm. Font's important. Let's see if I have Oswald. I don't.
I don't see it. All right,
I
we'll
might
change
just-
it back.
We'll stick it with what it was, and then if you want to change it, Catherine, just hit us up. We'll help you out with this. All right, now what should we put for below that? What is her title? Should we say Facebook marketing? Facebook marketing, just Facebook marketing, right? Just keep it simple.
I just got to figure out what.
Well, so here it is, Catherine Dar, Facebook marketing. You see what happens is it just slides in and goes out.
Toot, attempt to sell something. Toot.
And one of my little secrets here is that instead of
All.
making this a what?
All for Facebook Live.
Should I just say Facebook Live?
No, Facebook
Facebook
marketing. That's fine.
Okay. So one of my little secret tips here is that we don't want to be rendering AVI files with the alpha. You can, and I'll show you how, but what I always do is I actually put a green background in it, and then I render an MP4 file, which is much smaller. So instead of like 500 megabytes or 2 gigabytes, it's like 2 megabytes. And it renders faster, it's easier to use. All you need is a software that can run the chroma key on it, and when you're running a lot of shows and doing a lot of media, you don't want to be having like 5 or 6 titles that are taking up 20 gigabytes. It's crazy. It'll slow your whole production down, so don't do it unless you really have to for some reason. But so what we're going to do is we're going to hit File, Export, Render,
You know, yeah.
and then we're going to choose, this is the rendering section here. That's how easy it is. You literally just plug and play here. Instead of doing Format AVI and RGB with alpha, which is the way I used to do it, and oh gosh, it looks great, but the gigabytes just add up. We're going to do MP4. There's no audio.
H.264 RGB. There's no audio, so we don't have to click the audio output.
And then I'm going to put this in Temp Show Vids StreamGeeks. Michael, if you want to bring it up.
Are you giving away this template?
Catherine, I can't. They're going to have to buy it. If they want
That's
it.
a Video Hive template.
We can't give away anything that we've purchased. I purchased this, but there are some that we are giving away that I will show you guys. So this is Catherine Dar. You can see it's rendering right here. It takes about a minute. And while that's rendering, we'll get us into our next tutorial. But Michael's actually going to pull that in and show how cool it looks. We just run a chroma key on that green, and then it comes up great.
So a lot of those animations that we do, we place a green background behind in After Effects,
Yes.
render it, and then chroma key out that green background in Vmix so that it would appear translucent when it goes onto the screen.
Yeah. And so that's how our bugs are done. That's how everything's done because I only have 240 gigabyte solid state hard drive on my computer, so I can't be messing around with AVI files at all. When Tess sometimes renders something in AVI by accident, I get an 8 gigabyte file on my computer and I'm like out of storage. So I don't know if anyone else can relate
That's Paul's
to that.
pet peeve in life.
It is.
If you want to make him tick, that's it.
So we want to make some custom intros and outros, and that's the next thing I'm going to show you. So this is done. That has rendered. Mike's going to pull it up.
So we
and
have
show
a
you guys
fun
how that
example
works.
of an overlay.
Try to do the chroma key filter on this.
Yeah, and you don't worry about if it takes a little time. It's no huge deal. But the other thing I'm going to show you guys is how to create an intro. An intro which also can be used as an outro. So here's a cool one
normally do
that
2.
we've created that we purchased actually. It's called a Plexus
down.
title.
There you
And
go.
again, here we are in After Effects. And what we do is, normally when you get these, there's like 5 or 6 what are called compositions. And the compositions are built into...
These are tough.
These are more difficult.
They're more
Now,
complicated.
This one specifically isn't that bad, but they can get complicated depending on how. So you might want to think about how complicated they are before you get into it. But each of these actually you have to go into individually. So scene 1, we would go into it, and then once we're in scene 1, which includes the title, we go into the text layer as well. So sometimes it's like a rabbit hole of layers. So now that we've changed that one. When we go back to scene 1, now when we play it...
To answer your question, Yuta, yes, all of our graphics are made before the show, and we incorporate them into our show via inputs.
Where are we at? Here we go. There we go. So here it is, and see now it says StreamGeeks. It looks a little funny because the actual effect for it is like a glitchy.
Moving?
It's supposed to like change a bunch of stuff, and then it finally zeroes in on the geeks portion. So then we'd render that, and the whole thing together would be like a 10 or 20 second video clip. We'd have some music to go along with it, and maybe we'd hire a voiceover artist on Fiverr, Fiverr. We use it all the time.
Is it VVER?
Yes.
Or V? Okay.
So now let's jump into, I've got 2 videos I'm going to show you. Mike, we preloaded these up. Both of these are lower bugs, and I love these bugs, and I'm going to show you, they're going to be free in the download section in Tessa's live show goodies. And I want to show those off because I think they're really, really cool and easy. These ones are easy to do. I made these myself. That's why I'm giving them away for free. So let's show 1 or 2 of those. Ta-da! Okay, so this is Photoshop. So now we're in the super easy section.
This is where you start?
Mm-hmm. So this is where you can type in anything we want. So it could be, Catherine Darr's show or whatever we want, and we're going to save it as a PNG. Now, what this is going to do is this is going to create our little bug in the bottom right. So here's the show name. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to give you this After Effects file, and all you have to do is replace the PTZ Optics logo with your logo. So what you'll see here is there's this little button.
And the Wednesdays or whatever day. And
see where it says Reveal Footage? If you go to that, when you reveal it, you can just go ahead and, or actually I think this is Replace Footage. So you right-click the PTZ Optics logo, and then hit the replace footage with your footage. So I'll do it again here.
can you just double click when you're under the text?
File. I right click it. You right click the file, hit replace footage. So see that? Now it says 2 p.m. Eastern, 10 p.m. Pacific, and it works. But the Facebook user group, oh, it's done. And then we just render it. Hopefully that makes sense, guys. I'm guessing we're going to get some questions on this, you think?
Yeah, it's tough, and you have to have After Effects to be able to achieve this. But if you have After Effects and a working basic knowledge, you should be able to figure this one out.
You can see there's a blue background, or dark bluish. That can be chroma keyed as well. It doesn't have to be green. It
Really?
can be any color.
Oh.
Any color that's not, that you don't want to be transparent. So if there's green in your logo, you'd use the
You
blue.
have to be careful, right?
So that's it there. And then we're just rendering it just
So
like we
this
rendered
is
the
going to
last
be
one.
accessible.
This one is free. We've got it. I think it's a very simple, straightforward logo. You guys probably saw it a couple times on our show. It just pops up your logo, shows when you're live, and then just kind of goes away. And if you want, shows your Facebook user group, which is one of the things that we like to do. The other one we made, which is really fun, is we made, we've got a green screen here. Oh, here's can we read this one, Tess?
Philip says, I normally export intros, outros, and animations as QuickTime movies.movs.
With the alpha file.
With alpha file size isn't too big either. When
Oh.
the settings are turned down a little bit.
I see. Okay. So there's two ways to do it. MP4s are still going to be a lot smaller with the chroma key. But yeah, depending on how much space you have, MOVs are going to look better. And it's got the alpha channel. So MOVs or AVIs. I really like to compress everything down. We used to run on a laptop our entire show, and that was like my mantra. Was like, how small can I make everything and make it run great? Because my MOV files were, especially in Vmix, every file gets loaded into RAM before it gets played. That's why it plays smoothly, because it's preloaded. So the more MOV files you have in there and AVI files, it allocates all those resources, and it'll definitely do better with MP4s for certain. So the other one we did is we did a little holiday lower third bug. Let's show that one as well. So we went ahead and did some video in front of a green screen. And this is going to be a little bit more advanced in the After Effects side of things, where we use an After Effects effect. You can see us, we just kind of run in front of a green screen and then run away.
Just a little jig.
A little jig and a little
Simple.
hip check, if you will. And so what we
Dorks.
do is I kind of just got the video into so it's all green, had us run in, do a hip check, and run off.
Don't forget the hip check.
There's this effect called Key Light 1.2, and it's essentially a green screen, and you have to play with the gain, the screen gain, and the screen color until it's completely black, and then you've basically got a
So you did this in
chroma keyed
After
section.
Effects, not Vmix?
Well, both. You'll see why. So yeah, this is going to be a little tricky. So I also wanted this holiday live show thing to fly in with us. So in order to do that, we hit the transform section, and what you do is these transform buttons basically go with time. So as I drag the time over and then drag it over in time to where I want it, it will fly in with us. This is very basic After Effects stuff. If you've never seen this before, you might need to go through it a couple times, and then you'll really be able to have things fly in and out. Now it flies in, and then I had it stay there, I think. And then what I did was I put a green solid behind everything after that.
Ah, okay.
So now I still have the green solid, but it's like a perfect green solid. It doesn't have much. And then I noticed, oh look, there is a little bit of goofiness off of my green screen still there, so I need to chroma key it out even a little bit more to fix it. But eventually I got rid of it all. And then now I've got this perfect chroma key background that I can use in Vmix, and that's how that worked. Now I could have done an MOV file, I could have done an AVI file, but I personally like to just chroma key the whole thing to keep those files small. And that's it.
So you render that as a video clip, an H.264 clip, and then you pull it into Vmix and do the chroma key on the background.
Yeah.
And then you can resize it on Vmix if you want it to be like how we used it in the lower right corner. So it just slides in, does a little dance, and slides out, similar to what you see right here.
That one came out really good.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So that's a video bug, that's a chroma key. The countdown timers are really important. Those are pretty simple. In order to do that, you do need something like Vmix or Wirecast that supports a countdown timer. And what we usually do, and I'll show this, is we usually create something in Photoshop. So we'll do a 1080p, 1920 by 1080p
That's important
start.
to figure out where, if you want a realistic view of where your timer is going to sit on your feed, on your show, you want to make sure that your template, your canvas, is 1080p.
Yeah. So the canvas is 1080p. In fact, I'll even zoom it out a little more. And you'll see here that I kind of put it right in the corner there. And then this file goes into Vmix, but on top of that file, we put a countdown timer.
So it sits in there just like it was meant to be.
Sits in there like it was meant to be. And that is usually called layering. You can layer shots in Wirecast. You can have a multi-view in Vmix. And you put those two together, the file and the countdown timer. There it is right here. And then in the countdown timer itself, we can actually say, all right, it's 50 minutes till the live show. Let's set the countdown timer for 50 minutes. And then we know when it's getting down to 0. This is our old countdown timer here. Interesting thought, though. This one was an MP4 file where we thought it would be kind of cool to have like a rising thing that ends at 10 minutes. And I think that was really cool, but
Cue ourselves to do certain things
it was a
during
little
that time.
too long of an. It
Well, we just got
Didn't
off
work out.
topic,
Yeah.
and we weren't following the scheme that we had planned. So
Yeah,
if
it
you're
did- that
not going
didn't work
along with
out.
it, it's irrelevant. Can you take the laptop full screen to make it easier to see what Paul's doing?
We can actually, but Michael, you'd have to bring in a NDI input of my computer.
Do you have it available?
It should be there. Yeah, we're going to do that. That's a great idea,
should.
guys. What we can do, a little side note to the whole thing. We always go off on side notes, but you'll end up learning a lot from what I understand. Is that so? Basically, what I did here on my computer is I pulled up Vmix, took a desktop capture of this in Vmix, and now through NDI, assuming that my computer's plugged into the network, which it's not.
It's plugged into the camera. Hey, Stuart.
Hi, Stuart. To do this, it's all network-based, right? Everything's over the IP. Now my computer's on the network. Now, in a little bit, not right now, it should show up. Can I have a little power?
Sure. Hey, you offered it first.
All right, so that'll come up in a little bit. We'll do a little bit more photoshopping, but we've got more to talk about. So, fonts. We got to talk about fonts, Tess.
Yes, we get all of our fonts for free.
All of our fonts are pretty much free.
Two sources.
2 sources.
Google Fonts. You can download them right there. You know it's a trustworthy source. And DaFont. I use DaFont a lot.
Yes. And there's one font that I've been a
DA
super
font.
fan of, which is the candy cane font. And
Cute.
what I want to do, just for those of you who maybe it's your first time ever, we always kind of try to, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the candy cane font and I'm going to install it on my computer. So when you download the font, it's usually a zip file and it comes with all of this stuff in here. Basically, you can just open it,
True type
And-
file font. That's the file you want to open.
hit the install button. There we go there. We've installed it. And now that it's installed in Photoshop, if I want to have a festive font,
You just wrote fetive.
oh no. Put an S in there quick. Now, if we go to Candy Cane, boom, we've got Candy Cane font now. It's that easy. So you do have to install the font, but as soon as you do, you're golden and you've got your Candy Cane font or whatever you're working with. It's the holidays, so I thought the Candy Cane font would be good. But that's how you install fonts. We have to talk about custom titles now. We've got so much on this list. We got to get through it.
Custom titles.
So this title right here below that's coming up with, you can see here Doc saying DaFont is great. That is a Vmix title for social media. And we got to talk about this.
Yeah,
right?
that's one of the most important integrations that we use in our show is being able to display live comments from the chat because everything that has to do with live streaming is about interactivity, engagement, and communicating with your audience in real time. That's so important. And if you want live viewers or on-demand viewers even to understand who the person is that you're communicating with or referring to, it's great to be able to display those comments live.
Tess, what is the URL or the for
192.168.1.108 colon 8089.
Okay. So this right here, and by the way, Michael does have the ability to pull this up full screen now. Great idea, whoever's idea that was. This right here is all coming from Vmix Social. So Tess or I or anyone on our network can go ahead and send this to the queue and boom. See, it just comes right up there. So here's Doc.
This is using Vmix.
Boom. And so Tess can do this from her phone. She can do it from wherever she wants. And we can go ahead and say, cancel. And, oh, I guess Mike has to get rid of it. So that's how that works. Now, the other thing we wanted to show is how to create a custom title. Because this is, to me, one of my favorite things is how to create a custom social media title. And then if we have time, we'll at least talk about data sources. That gets really geeky. But let's
So
talk
where
about how to do this.
where do you start if you want to create a custom title?
So the first place that I start when I do this is, now we're using Vmix, we're using Vmix Social. So what I like to do is start with the Vmix title designer. And what I like to do is I like to open a title that we've already got. So here's one here. This is for our Let's Chat live show. And the way this works is there's basically things already on here for the username.
So this really would start in Photoshop. You design whatever you want your little chat box or text box to look like. Then you save it as a PNG. And then you add image.
Yes.
You add it into the
So
title
we're gonna do that just so that everyone gets to see it.
Okay.
The thing I wanted to show is, so there's this title box. There is a from name. There's a photo. That's the photo of the icon of the person.
Are those all your layers?
The message. Yeah. See that little message there? So these are.
Oh, you've already done this
These
one.
are the pieces of information that come from Vmix. And when you're doing Vmix social, there's so many of these little variables: name, username, picture, message, all of that stuff. I start with this before I even get into Photoshop because I don't really want to have to play around with moving all that stuff just yet. So if
So what do? You edit the original file?
you edit the original just to get started. So here we have our social titles. Here's our StreamGeeks one. Now I have, this is the one that is that we were using, right?
Okay.
And now what I can do, like if, for example, like let's say for Catherine, we're doing all Catherine today. Let's say Catherine wants to make one of these. Let's say she would just go ahead and make it red, right? Like a dark red, you said, like right there-ish.
Yep.
And then let's make it red.
Go a couple times.
A couple more. Okay,
There you go.
So let's say hers is red, and let's say we just want to put a little let's just say we want to put a little candy cane thing here. It just says like Catherine. Oh, too big. Catherine Daw. I like that font. Do you like it?
Not for her.
All right, then let's change it because I don't want her to have a creepy one.
Well, if we're actually going to give it to her, let's try doing something like Oswald that matches her theme.
I don't have Oswald.
Oh, you don't have it on the computer at all, do you? Hold on, let me look at them really quick.
But
Do you
how
have
about
it?
Discotheque?
No, she is like a feminine, beautiful. What is that? Fago. No, not that one. Fago.
Caps or what?
Where did it go? Fago Kolf? Is that what it is? Oh, no. We don't have time for this. We're live. What am I thinking? All right. Just
All
do
right,
Fago
this one.
now.
Okay. So, and this is just hypothetical. So let's say Catherine Dar's show, for example, blah, blah, blah. We would save this, and we'll call this StreamGeeks title example. And then we go back into the Vmix title editor, and we take the photo. I believe it's the photo. Nope, that's the photo. That right there is the photo that might be coming from like Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, like the actual photo with the post. What we're actually going to do is we're going to take this background image. Almost messed that up. All right. Go to social, I believe. Social titles. Catherine Dar. Ta-da! That's where Catherine Dar's. And then we would just save as. We would save it into a folder that we would call, always save it into a folder, Catherine Dar's folder. And we save it in here, custom Catherine. Now, once it's saved, there's one other special thing that needs to be done. We need to take that folder.
What level of Vmix do you need to have access to the title editor?
It's free for all.
It just comes with Vmix.
Yeah, so we would copy
well as Vmix
Catherine Dar.
Social?
Yeah, that's included with all of them. And then we have to go into our main computer, program files, Vmix,
Doesn't make me do
titles.
that anymore. I feel.
and then you paste it in. I'm not going to do this, but you would hit continue because you need to have administrative access, and then it will come up in the Vmix title editor. Ta-da! Let's go to the post show and answer questions now. I think we dug pretty deep. There's all kinds of other things you can do, such as data sources, fun stuff we're going to cover later, but We just did a half hour worth of tutorial. I hope you guys aren't bored. We've got fun segments. I'm thinking we go back to the cool, chill out space over here.
We also have to do a giveaway.
We got
so
a
let's
giveaway
get the wheel
coming.
prepped.
We're going to get the wheel
we'll
ready.
Head over there.
We'll head over to our other space. And these are your old batteries, right?
Yeah.
All right. See you guys soon. Where we answer your questions live. I hope you guys think that was helpful.
We
I think
look
that
green.
We do look green.
I don't know what happened. So we're feeling a little queasy today. That's the truth of it.
Light, more light. Oh, I know why. Because I moved our backlight.
Okay.
Which is probably not a good idea. I'll move it back.
Nerf Rambo. Can you get a very funny name? Can you get a Video Hive? Go to videohive.com and you can purchase off Video Hive. We also have a subscription to Video Blocks and Audio Blocks, a monthly subscription that allows us to have access to copyright-free stock footage, music, and so on and so forth.
Yes.
All right, so should we get started on the giveaway?
We need to do a giveaway. We have to. So Michael's gonna pull a giveaway winner here.
Are we spinning today? We're not doing frame grabber.
We're gonna spin, but we're gonna put the frame grabber
Let's
on
make
here.
sure, yeah, the frame grabber. What
And
did you want to add
Wirecast.
here? And Wirecast. Let's do that now.
Yeah, and an IP joystick.
Okay. There is a joystick on here. People on Facebook. What are you talking about?
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna
Hey,
add
Wesley.
more stuff. So we're gonna get rid of the virtual sets that are already free in the StreamGeeks folder, in the user group.
Yeah, so anywhere else is virtual setback. One Wirecast and one frame grabber.
Man. All right, and then
Can you get a Video Hive subscription?
okay, cool.
Can you get a Video Hive monthly?
No.
It's
Yes.
pay
No,
per-
they do have. So Video Hive has some cool stuff you should check out. So they do have some subscriptions, but basically Video Blocks is better for subscriptions, and Video Hive is better for that like one perfect. You know, the
content
artists,
might
the
be a
artists
little
need
bit
to eat,
more
right?
meaty.
The artists need to make money, so they charge for it, but that's where you get the good stuff. Wirecast.
Wirecast.
This is a Wirecast, a full Wirecast license. And then this is
The frame grabber. Okay.
4K frame grabber.
It's not a frame grabber. It's a capture card.
4K capture card.
Apparently you're old if you call it a frame grabber.
Yeah, you're right. All right. Now we've got extra stuff on here.
Paul taught
Jeez,
me that
Michael, you
word,
tightened
so
the crap
he's
out of
old.
this thing. I need to
Is
be able
my
to
audio
I
coming
need to
in
be able to
still?
spin to win. What? All right.
All
Next
right.
Halloween.
Pull up Gleam.
You both need to dress in solid colors that will drop out when the color is selected. That's a good idea, Ted. That's a great idea.
That's funny.
All right.
How about
so
adding a firmware upgrade?
It's on there.
Firmware?
Yeah.
An NDI firmware upgrade?
NDI firmware.
Oh, yep.
Right
It
there.
is on there.
NDI upgrade. It's on there.
All right. So there's some
All
really
right.
good stuff on that wheel now.
Who's our winner?
Jonathan Merlis.
John Merles.
John Merles.
Murals. Tell us the
Murals.
proper pronunciation.
Have you seen him today in the chat at all?
I have seen him today in the chat.
Oh, from Tyler, Texas.
From Texas.
Cool. Well, I'm glad you won.
Let us
'cause
know
we've seen you
if you are
already.
still in the chat. We hope you are.
We'll pull this giveaway, and of course, we're answering questions in the chat. If
He's here.
he's here,
Yay!
woohoo! Hey, John. All right, John.
Yay!
Here we go. All right, Tess, I want you to spin it.
Okay, are you ready?
Here we go.
1, 2, 3.
IP joystick.
IP joystick.
IP joystick!
All right, congratulations, John. You got a IP joystick, Generation 1.
Or Vmix mousepad.
Or Vmix mousepad if you don't have a camera and you don't want it for some reason. You're not allowed to resell the giveaway items, by the way, so don't try to resell it. We had someone try to do that. But yeah, no, it's fun. We're here to answer questions. If you want us to go dig back into something that you didn't get with Photoshop or After Effects, I have to say that if it were me, and I was
happy.
just getting started, I would be like, what was he just doing? So, hi Drumlin, still in the chat here in Ireland.
Yeah.
Yay! I love Ireland, so beautiful. I went to my honeymoon there, and it was gorgeous.
Aw, my sister went to her honeymoon there too.
Wow.
I went to Mexico.
Mexico. I just got back from there. Fun place. Can't beat it. I see Michael's doing some vmixing over there. He moved around the lower thirds a little bit. Michael's getting to know vmix quite well. I was just talking to Tim from vmix. I should have asked him to get on the wheel though. Should have been like, Wirecast is on the wheel. Don't you want to be on the
You
wheel?
should have asked him.
But we got Wirecast on the wheel now. We got 4K capture card. We got a free camera. We got an NDI upgrade. We got an IP joystick. You basically can't lose. You can't lose. I mean, there's nothing on it that's not good. So, loving our new lower thirds here. Super fun. If you're a podcast listener, we're redoing the podcast completely. And I think our branding is good. I think it's simplistic now.
StreamGeeks
Don't
is
you think?
doing really well. I'd like to tailor maybe PTC optics a little bit more. Huddle Cam's good too.
Yeah.
For the new.
We've stripped things down. Like this little lower bug here, it's only taking up 100 pixels. You know, it's not a huge lower third, but it does what it needs to do, you know? And I think
little
less
piece of
is
information.
more a lot of times, especially if you have a multi-cam production. I know a lot of you probably are with 1 or 2 cams. We've got 8. So I know we have a lot more than most on a camera's perspective, but let the cameras do the storytelling, you know, if you can. And then use, oh, look at that, Anders. The background looks like North Sweden. I'd love to go to Sweden.
Here's a good
so
question for
bad.
you, Paul.
If you were just starting, I would, that's a good one, Dan.
If I was just starting,
If I was just starting, I would be using Open Broadcaster software, which is completely free. I
watching shows like ours,
would be watching this show and going back to the early shows. Our very first show, I think we really dug into all of our secrets with the aha moments. You know, the things that opened our eyes to the possibilities.
if nothing else, make sure that you've picked a consistent day and time that you're going to have your show.
Yeah.
I'd recommend at least once a week. Probably not once a month, at least once a week or at least every other week. Consistency is key, and also asking for the email addresses of your viewers so that you can let them know when you're live.
That's great. And I think that if we were to one day, I want to put a whiteboard in here, and one day I really want to go over the whole thought process, because I would have a website, right? It's dedicated to the show. I would have a Facebook user group. I would have a Facebook page.
We need to
I'd have a
visit Arizona
marketing
for a
budget.
Christmas vacation.
There's so much. There's so many pieces that need to come together, but when it all comes together, it's really, really awesome. So if I was just starting, I would figure out my brand. I would get the colors. I would get the intros and the outros. I'd buy that perfect Video Hive template, and I'd be getting somebody else to do all that work for me on Fiverr or some video production person, because you're going to have a lot on your plate. And I'd get all the assets ready. And I'd have a whole content schedule planned. I'd have a couple months worth of content ready. and I'd have a blog ready, and I'd have a website ready, and I'd have all this stuff ready. One of the things I've realized is, and Einstein said this, Albert Einstein, if he had only 1 hour to save the world, he'd spend 99% of the time planning and 1% doing. Now, I think it's more of an 80-20, maybe even a 50-50. For
Yeah,
us, it's probably
good.
less planning than we should. But we plan, and we have an agenda, and we've learned. I think there were times when we hardly had an agenda.
Yeah.
There definitely times.
Good thing that we can just talk for hours and hours.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So Daniel
Oh.
says, do you know of any open source software similar to After Effects?
Now, Photoshop, there's an open source version called GIMP. I
Turn
gimped
that.
along with it. I think GIMP is the
Somebody
perfect.
else was talking about
They're
GIMP.
talking about that in YouTube.
I think there's the what do you want?
Move that because there's getting a reflection that I don't like.
I think that GIMP is perfectly named. You know, if you want to GIMP along and go with it, go ahead. But Photoshop is so much better.
I mean, everybody has to start somewhere, so that's a good place to
It's a
start.
good start place. But
recommendation
from the
for that.
video perspective, I don't think there is anything like After Effects. And the problem is that all the pre-built templates are built in After Effects, so you need it. And Michael's nodding his head over there saying, you know, same thing. You got to go with it because it's really the only way, but it's now available only via the cloud. And that kind of stinks because you have to pay every month. But if you just want to knock out your show graphics, grab it for $20. You don't have to pay like $1,000 like you used to. You used to have to pay like $1,000.
Yes. If you have a family member or a relative in the education field, you can get a discount.
You can get a discount if
wow.
you're in the education
Relative.
field or you know somebody in the education field.
That's good.
Have you heard of Blender?
No, Blender? I've never heard of Blender.
I don't know.
So in YouTube, our corner bug is exactly over our StreamGeeks logo that YouTube provides. So maybe move it over a little bit. Interesting point there.
Interesting point. We might
Does
need to
After
put it
Effects
in
work
the
with Final
bottom
Cut
left.
Pro? They should work seamlessly, no?
Well, I mean, they are kind of different. I mean, if you download an After Effects file, you're not going to be able to open it in Final Cut Pro. But you can take what you've built in After Effects and
If it was
use
like
it.
an MP4 or something in a movie.
Yeah. So I could see you using what
Adam's
you've
using
built in After Effects.
Wirecast.
Adam's using Wirecast. Cool.
Do
Wirecast
check
7.
font sizes, Ted says, before using because it might be too thin or easily read. That's important when streaming since people are watching on small or
Can we
large
fix
screens.
one thing that's just
Good
bugging
tip.
me? The Vmix social here, it's cutting off up to 140 characters. Just don't even limit it.
Graphic converter for Mac is expensive.
Now watch this.
Might also be available for PC.
Send that thing from Ted again to the just send that one again or anything. See how it says ... after 140 characters.
Now pop it.
Philip makes
Now
a good point.
pop-
You need to
pop up
plan
that
the
long
screen
one.
layout in advance for prepping graphics.
Yeah, it's true.
Surely.
And you have to take in consideration that Facebook's got a little live button up here, and YouTube's got their little thing down there. So, and that's an interesting thing that we never talked about. But Facebook and YouTube are making money off of our content, right? They're the ones who have it's their brand that's being built, right? If we were to be live streaming to our own content delivery network, we would own all of the space, and that little bug wouldn't be covered up by YouTube's thing. It doesn't bother me.
Yeah, because it's our logo. I'll show it to you.
Oh, I see.
See?
It's even our logo. Our logo's
And they
covering
can
up our
click to
logo.
subscribe, so it's actually helpful.
Yeah, no, I actually like
They
it.
have
It's
it
just
right.
and it's even just really small in the bottom right. So if we just moved our StreamGeeks thing over, and that's the kind of geeky stuff we need to be doing. Like, thank you for whoever said that. Thank you, because we just need to move it over like 5 pixels.
Let's see. Ted says, and you need a sales staff to take on the load of inquiries that come in.
Yes, that's true. And yeah, and that's if you need if you're looking for a load of inquiries from potential clients, start live streaming. In fact, I'm hoping to get a local business to start working with us, a couple of them, and do some case studies and stuff. Like, we're just going to help them out for free. Like, I think Old Soul Decor, if we can get her to help
Did you talk
with
to
us.
her yet?
Yeah, I talked to her. And I want her to be our QVC style case study, where she like QVC style sells her old decor. And then I want to get a sushi restaurant in town. And I think they're not going to be able to understand the amount of leads that they're going to get from live streaming. They're going to be like, whoa, turn it off. We can't handle it. I think. We'll see, I guess. Gene is always telling everyone about what is it? MNB Live. This is a really cool streaming software. We need to mention it. We need to do a show on it. We've got so much basic stuff, Gene, that we need to get through from a StreamGeeks perspective, like branding. What was the other show? We were going to do virtual sets, but we were going to do another one on podcasting.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of like basic building blocks, the things we need to get up on. But Gene has been telling us a lot about NMB Live, which is your own content delivery network, which doesn't have the little bugs and everything that YouTube and Facebook put on there, and allows you to monetize and charge for viewing.
Chris says, can we change the Vmix social font size? The name has always seemed pretty small.
Oh,
In the title editor.
Definitely,
you can.
definitely. No, not even in the title. Well, yes, you can do it in the title editor, but if Michael was to right-click the Vmix title in Vmix, he'll see that there's like 5 or 6. You don't have to do it now, Mike, but there's like 5 or 6 different options, and each one of those options, one of them is like the from name or the username, and there's a little plus button where you can make it bigger, and it's all customizable in Vmix. And then in Vmix title editor, if you do it there, then it's by default it will be set that way you
Right.
want it, but you can fix it on the fly too.
Ted's glad our shows are not interrupted by Facebook or YouTube ads. We're not popular enough yet.
Well, no, we're not monetizing our content because that's not how we want to do our content. Our content is not monetized, but when I say Facebook and YouTube are monetizing it, what they're doing is they're getting your attention, and then you're staying on YouTube and Facebook, which is where they want the eyeballs. So they're monetizing it. It's in the neighborhood of billions of dollars. They're monetizing it. But no, they're not running. We're not allowing them to run pre-roll ads. That might be something that they take away from us in the future, but we are live streaming for free. So
Yeah.
when it first came out, it was like, hallelujah, we can live stream for free. And now it's like, everyone's like,
Live stream for free.
no, really. I mean, when it first came out, it was like, whoa.
I love that song. We need to have a little bug of you doing that.
That would be so hilarious. I think that's what should be like our next commercial. It's like, hallelujah, we can live stream for free. It's like camera, microphone, live show.
He is too funny.
We talked about fonts a lot today.
Yes, we did.
Here's a shout out. An awesome company is called House Industries from Hawkinson, Delaware, which is kind of in our neighborhood. And they do professional fonts that are
House Industries
Ooh.
from Delaware
They are premier, so they are a little expensive, but they are
for custom
Now,
fonts.
that is important. But you can always grab your mic, by the way, Mike. So it's just but we'll have to since you don't have a mic, we'll have to say it. What's it called? Just grab your mic.
Okay, so we talked about graphic designs and fonts a lot today. And can you hear me?
There we go.
Okay. So we talked about graphic design and fonts a lot today. And we'd like to give a shout out to some kind of local companies in the Philadelphia area. But a company I know for fonts is House Industries from Hawkinson, Delaware. And they are professional graphic designer, and they make professional fonts that are like worldwide or nationwide known, and they're like legendary. So a little shout out to House Industries for making awesome fonts
That's
in the
sweet.
Philadelphia area.
Yeah, the thing I like about that and having a custom font is that no one else is going to have it.
Yep.
One of the cool things with the fonts that are available for DeFont and stuff, it's sometimes you can actually, it's pretty rare that you'll see someone else using your font because there's so many out there. But it happens, right? And it's like, oh God, they're using the same font I'm using. Oh, I'm not the only one in the world using free fonts. With these guys, you can get a totally custom font that basically no one else is going to have.
Very cool.
Which is totally awesome. And from a branding perspective, you can't beat that.
Yeah.
You just can't beat it. Now, Nerf Rambo is asking if there are any good free templates for intros and others. There are some out there. All you have to do is Google free After Effects. I have never messed with it because, to me, $15 is so cheap that you just can't beat it. Now look, Ted's whole comment is coming up.
And to us peasants, we might consider some free alternatives.
So you can get Photoshop, After Effects, Premiere Editing, and a whole bunch more of Adobe software for $49 a month. can you use 2 computers at the same time, so you can do 2 Macs, 2 PCs, or one of each, and then deactivate one on the third. I find it very helpful. Yes, Ted, thank you for that. And I also thought one of these days we might do a whole show on, instead of like the tutorials of all of this, but the file management and Dropbox for Teams. Because we all use Dropbox.
We share everything.
So we've all got Adobe accounts, and we're all Dropboxing like crazy. And if you create a Vmix or a Wirecast or an OBS template, right, and you've got a lower third, this, that, and the other thing, if you replace the file that it's referencing with the new version, it'll automatically be replaced, right? So you can use Dropbox to do that with multiple computers, multiple team members. And if your show has X amount of files and it's always those files, when you change the lower third there, it automatically will be pulled into Wirecast or Vmix or Livestream Studio.
Nice.
So, but we might not do a full show on that, but it's kind of a cool little tip. We didn't really go into any of our segments because we had so much tutorial, and I'm fine with that. We had so much tutorial today.
Do you have a desktop capture up? Here, hold this. Let me see if I can pull something up really quick that I thought was funny to share with you guys. I'm just going to go ahead. Paul, say something cool.
So I'm just holding Tessa's computer. You can see here that Vmix Social's running. I may have found a small bug with Vmix Social. I consider it a little bug, but it's not really a big one. Basically, we have multiple YouTube accounts. The way Facebook works with Vmix Social is you just type in the address, basically because all comments on Facebook are public. On YouTube, they basically only give access to comments and transcripts to, this is so funny. This is so
For all
funny.
our designers out there, because this is my life story because I'm so unorganized. Paul would have them into like nice folders with like proper names.
This is what you're going to find in Tessa's live show.
That
goodies.
is my life. It's like new final one. So that is your life if you're a designer and you make a mistake and you do 13 copies of something.
That's hilarious. Oh my gosh. That's so funny.
So that was supposed to be the meme or live show quote or the week or
Yeah,
whatever.
I'm glad you did that because it's so funny. I'm loving our little lower thirds here. Now we bought,
that,
I don't know
Paul.
who did it. I don't know if Mike bought it or you bought it or I bought it. We all
Not I.
share a Video Hive account. Somebody bought it 'cause I don't remember buying it. Maybe I did long ago. I think you bought it. A title pack. A pack of titles. And these are the ones we're using. In fact, there's that new StreamGeeks one too that we came up with. But I love it. And I didn't even know, so we all share a Video Hive account and credit and everything. We have a budget because we have a marketing team. So if you're in a marketing team, you should have a budget for this kind of stuff. I'd highly suggest getting a shared account so everyone knows what each other has. Michael bought that for another project. And then I was like, oh, maybe I'll start
This
using
part
this.
of it, yeah, we can use for this.
If I buy something, I always try to think of multiple projects to use.
Right, yeah, trying to recycle some of those files to multiple projects, Michael was explaining.
And Catherine, if you, yeah, I know. I was like, whoa, what is this? And I was like, oh, I'll use it. It's nice. And so it turned out well. And we're using it now for something I don't think
We're
it was
sitting the same way,
originally
Polly.
intended. Look at that. I like those boots.
Thanks, they're hand-me-downs from my sister, like everything else I have.
So it's almost 3 o'clock. We always do a full hour with you guys. It's always fun. We just got back into the office.
Good tip from
one
Christopher.
last week. Christopher's got a good tip for us. Ooh, look at that. Wow, churches are included in nonprofit Creative
whoop.
Cloud pricing. $20 for the first month, $30 for that after. So it's $50 for businesses
Yes, $49.95.
and $20 a month. But you can just get Photoshop and After Effects, I thought, for like 20 or something.
Drumlin uses Live Stream Studio for software similar to Vmix in price and has graphics and lower thirds with free downloads. Very cool.
Nice.
Also has the NDI option with IP cameras and HDMI SDI capture cards.
Yes, and we haven't even talked about like graphics over NDI. So all the graphics we were talking about are like MP4 files, PNG files, but there are total software packages that are like title creators. New Blue Title FX is a big one. And they actually come into your video production as an NDI source. This is for like really high-end productions. But there's actually, let's say Michael's the video producer. His job is really to control, not even control the cameras. And in most situations, there's a producer, there's cameramen, and then there's a graphics animator. Okay, Michael's doing all of that. And sound. And there's a whole sound guy. Yeah. So
He's like, don't forget about sound.
nowadays, there's, now, like with the small crew people, there's a lot of times it's the producer and controlling multiple PTZ cameras. So Tess, when we went out and did Pretty Good Fest, like you were the producer and you had one other person doing the PTZs with the joystick of 2 cameras. But there would definitely be, in most situations in higher end productions, a whole nother sound guy or 2, and then just a titles guy. And nowadays with the new tech NDI, you can have a titler running on a machine that is secondary to the video production system connected over the network, and they press a button and it launches the titles on the main video production. And then those title machines are being created so quickly. They're bringing in Twitter feeds, they're bringing in live data, they're inputting things quickly. Maybe they're pulling up the next song. Like, oh, this band is playing, Stairway to Heaven, blah, blah, blah. So like putting in data real quick, showing it up, all of that's done live. What we showed you guys is really the intro, outro, core elements for like a show.
Right.
That wouldn't be done live. It's all done pre-production. All right, before Tess drops her laptop, we got to call it. Thanks for the show, watching the show, everybody. It was fun.
Happy holidays from
Happy
the
holidays,
StreamGeeks.
our
And
last
don't
show.
forget, speaking of NDI, to tune into Vmix Fun Time Show this week, tomorrow. Do you know what time it is?
The 19th. Oh, gosh, it's tomorrow night for Eastern Standard Time at 8 p.m.
I believe it's 8 p.m.
If you're in Europe, on the other side of the world,
They're going to do one on Wednesday.
they're doing one on Wednesday.
All right, so check that out, and we'll see you next time.
Bye, everybody. Take care.